Good morning, students, and welcome back again to the statistics class. I hope you all are fine. In today's class, we will, before we could proceed for today's class, we will revise what we learned in the previous class. So in the last class, we began with the second chapter, that is organization of data. So we studied two concepts, statistical inquiry and collection of data. Can anyone give me the meaning? What is statistical inquiry? Okay. What we learned, what is the meaning of statistical inquiry? You can give me in your own words, no problem. What is statistical inquiry? Okay. Okay, some say it is search of knowledge. Okay, some say planning and preparation. Planning and preparation is it is a stage of statistical inquiry. So when you say statistical inquiry, it is nothing but you search for a knowledge using statistical methods. Okay, with the help of statistical methods, what you do, you search for knowledge, the true facts. Okay, so that is called as statistical inquiry. And which are the two methods of or two stages of statistical inquiry? Okay, it is, yeah, one is planning and preparation. Yes, good. And second one is execution of survey. These are the two stages of statistical inquiry. Okay, so these may be asked for 1 or 2 marks, students, so keep in mind. Okay, yes. And one more concept we learn about collection of data. Now, when you say collection of data, what does it mean? Where you collect the facts and the figures, okay, of the statistical inquiry. That is called collection of data. You collect the facts related to your search, related to your topic. That is collection of data. So I said about investigator. Now, who is the investigator? Who is the investigator? Who is known as investigator? The person who is going to conduct the survey. See, if I am going to conduct a survey, so I will be considered to be as an investigator. Okay. Person who conducts the survey will be considered as investigator. Okay. Who is the enumerator? I said I gave various examples of enumerator. Okay, live examples of your own classmates. Okay, now who is an enumerator? The person who is going to collect the information for the investigator. Okay, now if Shivani will collect information for me. Okay, the person who is going to collect the information for the investigator will be considered to be as enumerator. Okay, and who is the respondent or informant? The person who is going to respond for the queries or the questions whatever has been asked. Okay, the people who are going to be the witness to answer the question will be considered as respondents or informants. Okay, so these are the concepts which we learned in the last class. In today's class, we will learn the two types of statistical data. So in statistical survey, what happens? So data will be classified into two types. Yes, good Pradhudev. We have two types of data. That is, one is primary data and one more is secondary data. Now today we will learn what is primary data and what are the various methods we have under primary data. So when you say what are the two types of data, it is primary data and secondary data. Coming to the primary data. When you say primary, okay, now when you were small, you were put into the primary school, primary KG school. Why? To learn something, and whatever you learn there was the something new for you, fresh, something teacher is teaching you something new. Primary, okay, which you do not know, something new you are learning. So I ಆಗ್ಬೋದು 1 2 3 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಚಿಕ್ಕದು ಇರುವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತಾ? ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. That is primary. So similar way, in statistics, what does primary data mean? It is nothing but the data collected for the first time. Okay, ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಯಾವುದು ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, that is Okay, and that is directly collected by the field, by the investigator, is called primary data. So when you say primary data, it is a data or it is a fact which has been collected by the investigator directly or the first time. ಅದು ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರಾ ಡೇಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಓನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ನೀವು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನೀವು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, that is called as primary data. Now mother, your mommy will tell you to go and buy fruits. Okay, now you will directly go to the shop and you will see, okay, which mango is good. Okay, you will select which mangoes are good, whether it looks good color, whether it is good color. Okay, you see that and you select it and you buy it. That is a small example related to primary data. So you personally go visit and find the data, that is for the first time, that is called as primary data. And this data, primary data, is original in nature. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ duplicate ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಸೊ ಡೇಟಾ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, and also it is called as first hand data. Why it is called first hand data? Because it is collected for the first time and you directly go and collect the data, so it is first hand data. Somebody else, in the sense, you may appoint someone to collect a data, that is not considered. It is not like you are referring something else, like some other data. ನೀವು ಬೇರೆಯವರ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನೀವಾಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಆಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೇಟಾ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್. ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಇನ್ನು ಶೇಪ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಫೈನಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಫೈನಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗುಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ that is the raw material for your statistics. Okay, so it is considered to be as the data, whatever you collect over here will be considered as the raw material of the inquiry. So simple example where you can easily remember is census. Now census is one of the best example for primary data. Why? Because you have seen the government teachers, what they do, they will go house by house to collect the information. So information collect ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳಿ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ data. So I hope you all got a small simple idea what is primary data. So when anybody asks you, yaradru nimma hatra keltare, what is primary data? So what is primary data? It is the fresh data. It is the data which nobody has collected, first time data, where it is original. Okay, you can say it as an original in nature, which gives you an exact figure. Okay, that is primary data. Okay, we will know now what are the methods. Now when you say primary data, it is fresh hand, you directly go and collect the data. Now in that, various methods are there. Now we will see which are the various methods to collect these primary data. First one, there are 5 methods. First one, direct personal observation. Okay, second one is indirect oral interview. Third one, information through agencies, mailed questionnaires, schedule sent through enumerators. So these are the 5 methods, okay, through which primary data is been collected. Now we will learn one by one. So this question they may ask you for 10 marks or 5 marks. Okay, they may ask you any 2 for 5 marks, or they may ask you all the 5 for 5 marks. Okay, so very important concept. Okay, not only for your PUC, but if you are going to do your BCom or anywhere, okay, it is required. So keep this in mind. Coming to the first concept, direct personal observation. Now you have to first know the meaning of these words, direct, personal, observation. When you say direct, means Directly, not indirectly through someone. You directly collect information. Okay. Personal means personally. ನೀವು direct personally ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ information ಅನ್ನ collect ಮಾಡೋದು. Observation ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡುದು. Okay, ಗಮನಿಸುವುದು. That is important. So direct personal observation means you personally visit and observe the particular situation. Okay. Now let us know what is direct personal observation. Investigator collects the required information by the observation of the units. So ನೀವೀಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Means you will select one sample, one unit for your study. Okay. So ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? You personally go and observe the unit, observe the places, observe the people. Now for your example, if your topic is the cleanliness of Harihar city, okay, consider your observation. Okay, your topic, whatever now you want to study on the topic, the cleanliness of Harihar city. Now when you say cleanliness, what you can do, you can personally go and visit Harihar and see and observe how is the area. Okay, now in Harihar, there are different places like Amaravati Colony, Keshav Nagar. There are various. Now you can select any of the unit. Okay. Now if you're considering the whole Harihar is fine, not a problem. You can consider. Now what does the investigator do? Okay, consider Shivani is the investigator. She is going to study on this. What is the cleanliness in Harihar? Okay, now what does Shivani do? Shivani will personally visit to Harihar, and now she has considered unit as Keshav Nagar. Okay, there is a place called Keshav Nagar. So she has taken Keshav Nagar as her unit, a place or a sample. Okay, now Shivani will go to Keshav Nagar and she will go each area by area to observe what is the cleanliness of that area. So investigator will collect the required information by observing the particular unit. Okay. The investigator must be the keen observer. So ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ observe ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. Okay. So ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Observe ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. So ನೀವು observe ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ observation sharp ಇರಬೇಕು. Keen observer ಇರಬೇಕು. Now if Shivani goes on walking, what happens? If she miss, okay, she has to observe each and every area in that Keshav Nagar properly. Okay, avಳು ಒಂದು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Data misplace ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, data will be wrong. Okay, you may not get the exact data. So observer must be the investigator must be a keen observer, a sharp observer when it comes to direct personal observation. Okay. He cross-examines the respondents and records the necessary information. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? Now Shivani will go area by area. So ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? She will ask some people. Okay, she will observe. She will ask people like, what is the reason for this? Like how people are keeping so nicely tidy? Okay, why people are so like worried about their health or anything such questions. So she will observe when the people are responding. She will observe the respondents and she will record all that information. In statistics, what happens when the investigator goes in search, okay, in collection of data, he will observe, and when he speak to a person or one respondent, what happens? He will observe how he is going to respond, whether the response given by him is right or wrong. Whether it is right or wrong, but the investigator, what he does, he will record those information. He will cross-examine those information. Whatever the investigator has observed, along with the information that has been collected by the respondent. Okay. In enumerator may collect biased information. Now, who is the enumerator? The person who is going to give information for the investigator. Okay. So now when you consider enumerator, so now I will consider Sadia as my enumerator. Okay. Shivani is the investigator. Now Sadia will be the enumerator for Shivani. Now if Sadia what when Shivani will tell Sadia, go and observe the place and give me some report. So now what does Sadia do? Yeah, she will go. She will go in search of the, she will observe every area, but she will be tired. Later on, what she will do? Okay, I'm tired. I will give something. I will simply tell that the area is very clean. The people are very good and all that. Okay, so what happens? The enumerator, now Sadia will give wrong information or she may not give exact information, right? So similar way, in statistics, what happens when it comes to direct personal observation, if the investigator appoints an enumerator, the enumerator may give a wrong information or may collect a wrong information, a biased information. Okay, that is also there in direct personal observation. And this method is less costly. Why? Because you personally are going, when it comes to a small area, it is less costly. Okay, but there is a disadvantage also. When it comes to a huge area, if you consider the whole Harrier city, it will be costly. Okay, if you're taking your own vehicle and going also, it may be costly to for your petrol, diesel. It will be costly for your other stationary items, whatever the required items during your survey, during your inquiry. So it depends. If your area or if your unit is small, it is less costly compared based on the unit, whatever the area or the place that you select. So did you all understand what is direct personal observation? It is nothing but the investigator personally observes the particular unit. Okay, it is not like somebody has been appointed there. The person, the researcher himself will collect the information based on his observation. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, students. Feel free to ask me. Okay. This method is adopted in following cases where greater accuracy is needed. Now, if you need, now your data is based on cleanliness of area city. Now, if you want accurate information, the correct information, this method is right. Where the investigator ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರು ಅವರ ಡೇಟಾಗೋಸ್ಕರ ರೈಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೇಟಾ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್. Now, where the area is where the field of inquiry is not large, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ area, if you consider only 50 respondents ಅಂದ್ರೆ this method is best suitable. Okay. Third one, where confidential data are collected. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟಡಿ if it is based on a confidentiality, ಈಗ whatever it may be, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಶಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಿ ಇಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್. ಸೊ if you have to maintain the confidentiality of the data what you collect, direct personal observation method will be suitable. And where sufficient time is available. ಈಗ ಶಿವಾನಿಗೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೇಕು, because she personally goes and visit the data, right? So what happens, sufficient time is also required. Okay, that also has to be considered when you come to direct personal observation. Let us know what are the merits and the demerits of this method. Coming to the merits, true and reliable data can be collected. So now when the investigator personally visit and observe the information, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಟ್ರೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ರಿಲಯಬಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ that investigator personal ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So there they will collect the true and the reliable data. Second one, degree of accuracy can be high. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ accuracy means the correctness of what you say, collecting the data. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ, here the correctness or the accuracy of the data will be high because the investigator personally visits the unit and collects the data. So ಅವರಾಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ obviously data true ಇರುತ್ತೆ, reliable ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, accurate ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ ಆನ್ ದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ಈಗ ಕ್ಲೆನ್ಲಿನೆಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಅವರು ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಕ್ಯುರಸಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಅಕ್ಯುರಸಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್, ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಹೋಮಿಜಿನಿಟಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನೀವಾಗಿ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈಚ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟಿ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡುವಾಗ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ತರ ನೀವು ಡೇಟಾ ಒಂದ್ ಏರಿಯಾವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟಿ ಆಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಯಾವ ತರ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ. ಸೊ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು do this. So that you have to keep in mind. Okay, when you say direct personal observation, it is only the investigator who will do this observation. You have to keep that investigator in your mind. Okay, consider yourself as an investigator and think, okay, you are going to a unit, okay, you are collecting the data. Now when I am the investigator, when I am collecting the data, how I am going to collect, whether my data will be true. If my data, if my final result should be good, what will I do? My data will be true, it should be accurate, and it should be uniformity. There should be uniformity in collecting the data. Okay, coming to the demerits, not suitable for large area. As I said, when it comes to small area nimge agutte, adra large area iruvaga so nimdu observation ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮಿಂಗ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಡೀಸೆಲ್ ಗೆ ಈಗ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನಾಲು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟೈಮ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್. ನೀವು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಈಚ್ ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಗ ಶಿವಾನಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ಸರ್ವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, she has to take her own vehicle and go, which is expensive for her. ಯಾರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರ, ಕೊಡುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವಳ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೂಡ ವೇಸ್ಟ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆ, can she do any other work? No, her time is also wasted. So it is time consuming. And third one is, an untrained investigator will not bring good result. ಈಗ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್, ಈಗ ನಾನು ಶಿವಾನಿಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಎನಿಸಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿದ್ರೆ, will she be able to conduct a good survey? Will she be able to give good result? No, it is not possible. It is not possible for her to give a good result. So she should be trained. Okay, if I train her properly how to do an observation, how to collect her data, then she can give me a good result. So same way in statistics, what happens if an investigator is not trained? Okay, if he or she is not trained, then he cannot give a good result. Okay, he cannot give a good result. So these are the merits and demerits of direct personal observation. Any doubts in this first method? Did you understand what is direct personal observation? What is direct personal observation? If anybody asks you what is direct personal observation, what will be your answer? The investigator who personally visits the spot or the unit and collects the data by his observation. Okay, so that is direct personal observation. Second one, indirect oral interview. Now, when I said direct, means you personally directly go. When you say indirect, what does it mean? Indirectly through someone. Okay, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೇಟಾ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. Now what do you mean by oral? Through words, oral communication. ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುದು, ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಕೇಳಿ ಓರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡುದು. ಓಕೆ, interview. Now what is interview? Where you ask a question. Okay, the interviewer will ask the question and the respondent will give the answer. So now indirect oral interview. Now what happens in this method, we will know. So in this method, if the informant is not ready to give information, then indirect oral interview can be followed. Suppose Okay, this I will give us best example here is the crime. If a murder or anything happens, small case happens, crime branch ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರು ಬರುವಾಗ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳುವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಾ? ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿ, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಓ ನಂಗೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನ್ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, he will appoint one person there from that area only. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, what he will do, he will appoint that person to speak to you. Okay, oral ಆಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So that is a small best example to make you understand what is indirect oral interview. So in statistics, what happens is there are cases when you make a deep study. Okay, if your research is based on a deep study, sometimes the informants, they will not be ready to give information. Okay, especially when it comes to the family, some study related to a family. ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲೀಸ್ ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆದರ್ತಾರೆ, they will not give you the information. So at that time this method will be followed. So here what they will do is, here the investigator will approach the witness or the third party who are in touch with the informant. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಗೆ ಓಕೆ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, who knows that person. If you consider one family, the person who knows that family, ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಚಯ ಇದ್ದವರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ, they will ask their problems and collect data to give it to the investigator. Okay, so did you all understand? Witness or the third party is nothing but, now consider A is the informant, okay, C is collecting the information, okay, C is the investigator, okay, A is the informant. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಗ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So what he will do, he will appoint a person, that is B. Okay, he will appoint a person B to ask the person A and collect the information from A and give it to C. Okay, so that is indirect oral interview. So your investigator will collect the data indirectly by interviewing the third person who are in close touch with the original informants. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ investigator ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, indirectly ಆಗಿ. Okay, last class I gave you an example. I appointed Adil to look after the class. Now Adil is a person, he is the third party who is going to give me the information about EBA's class to Vilisha ma'am. Yes, now Vilisha ma'am is the investigator. Adil is who? He is the third party who is going to collect, who is in touch with the informant. He is friendly with you all, okay, with the EBA's class students, okay, but he never told he is working for me. Okay, so indirectly agi oral interview anna collect ಮಾಡಿ information ಅನ್ನ collect ಮಾಡಿ investigator ಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So this method is more suitable when the area of study is small. So ಈಗ small area ಇದ್ರೆ fine, especially one particular family issue ಆಗಲಿ, crime case ಆಗಲಿ, ಅಂತ situation ಅಲ್ಲಿ this method has been helpful. Coming to the merits and demerits, okay, it is simple and convenient. Okay, it is very simple method. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಈಗ ಆದಿಲ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಈಸ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ ದ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಅದು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಆದಿಲ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಅವನ್ ಏನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಈಸಿಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಆದಿಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಮೀ ದ answer. Whatever information is required to me from that class, he will give me that information. So it is very simple, okay, and it is very convenient. It is free from bias and prejudice. Okay, so it is not like it is unfair. It is free from unfair method, what you say, unfair data, or it is not prejudiced. Prejudiced is nothing but where actual agi data one what you say, there is no misunderstanding. Okay, whatever is being observed, whatever is being answer is given, that answer you the investigator will get. So it is free from any unfair data or what you say, wrong data. Okay, so that is one of the merit of this method, that is indirect oral interview. Coming to the demerits, interview with improper man will spoil the result. So ಈಗ ನೀವು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ರಾಂಗ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೆ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳುವಾಗ ಆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಫೈನ್. ಅವರನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೇರೆಯವರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟರ್ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಡೇಟಾ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಇಂಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೇಳುವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, that is one of the demerit. And the last one is witness or third party may give biased information according to the interest. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ಈಗ ಆದಿಲ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅವನದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇದ್ದು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಆದಿಲ್ ಆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನನ್ಗೆ ರಾಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, that is one of the disadvantage. So third party, whenever he will give you information, okay, maybe for some interest or to help that person, it can be emotional connection sometimes, okay, not all the time. Sometimes what happens, they may give you the wrong information. The third party may give you the wrong information. That is one of the disadvantage of this method. Did you all understand the first two methods? Did you all understand this method, indirect oral interview? It is nothing but where the third party is being appointed to collect the information on behalf of the investigator. Okay, that is indirect oral observation, indirect oral interview. Any doubts? Any doubts, students? We'll move to the next method in the next class. Any doubt with these two methods? Did you understand